there, gang. Today I want to talk about measuring length. We want to measure how long something is. All right, we have 3 standard units that we're going to use for measuring length. We have the inch, we have the foot, and we have the yard. Okay? Now, here are 3 simple things I want you to do to remember how long these things are. An inch. Take your finger, bend it. Okay? Bend your index finger, your pointer, from one knuckle to the other. That's about 1 inch. Okay? That's going to be about an inch. Now, is it exactly an inch? No. Why not? We all have different length fingers, right? But if you do this, it's about an inch. And this would give you something that it would allow you to estimate how long something is. If I'm looking at my phone, and I say, okay, my phone is about how many inches long? Well, I can say, all right, that's about an inch. All right, so that's about 1, 2, 3, 4. That's about 4 inches long. And if I measured it, turns out it's 4.5 inches long, and I'm pretty close, right? I'm pretty close to what the actual measurement is. All right, so that's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to give a decent estimate. So for an inch, okay, if your teacher says, hey, show me an inch, you're going to bend your finger just like that. That's about an inch, okay? Next, we have the foot. For a foot, you're going to put your arms at your sides, and you're going to bend them at the elbows, and you're going to take your thumbs, and you're going to touch your shoulders. Not in here at your neck, not in here. You're going to bend your arms, keep your arms right at your sides, you're going to touch your shoulders. This is about a foot, okay? This is about 1 foot. Now, exactly? No. Why? We're all different sizes, but this is pretty close to a foot. Now, what happens is people start to creep in this way. Touch your shoulders with your thumbs, okay? That's about a foot. If you were here, I could take a ruler, stick it in between because the ruler's a foot long, and for most kids, it fits right in between their hands, and it's about a foot, okay? Inch, foot. For a yard, okay? For a yard, we're going to make a W with our arms. Not this, not straight out. That's too big, okay? My arms can't be straight. I want to make a W like you're going, what? Yeah, right like that, okay? That's a yard, okay? That's a yard. So you're going to make that W, okay? So inch, foot, yard. All right, now, how many of these does it take to make each one? For inches and feet, it takes 12 inches to make a foot. You see it on a ruler all the time. There are 12 inches on that ruler. 12 inches make 1 foot. How many feet make a yard? Well, there's 1, 2, 3 feet in a yard, okay? There's 3 feet. There's 1, 2, 3 feet a yard. 1, 2, 3 feet a yard. 1, 2, 3. Oh, foot and yard dance. 1, 2, 3 feet a yard. Yeah, 3 feet in a yard. Okay. So 12 inches in a foot, 3 feet in a yard. Okay. All right. Now let's get to some estimating. Okay. I'm going to give you an object that we're going to measure. I'm going to give you a number, and you're going to tell me whether it would be inches, feet, or yards. Okay. For example, if I said the length of this book is 11, and I use the number 11. Well, would it be 11 inches, 11 feet, or 11 yards? It's going to be 11 inches, right? That's with the number 11, it's the most reasonable thing. If I said the length of this book is 1, well, would it be 1 inch, 1 foot, 1 yard? Now it would be 1 foot, because it's closer to being a foot long than it is an inch long, right? So you have to pay attention to the object and pay attention to the number being used to make the proper estimate. So here we go. The length of a pencil is about 7 blank. Okay, so a pencil, you know how long a pencil is, right? About 7 what? Well, is it 7 inches? 7 of these? 7 of these? 7 of these? What would a pencil be? Sure, a pencil's going to be 7 inches long. It's going to be 7 of those, right? About, we're estimating, okay? Next, the width of a doorway is about 1 what? Now the width, how wide a doorway is. Let me get you a doorway here, okay? If we were looking at how wide the door is, how wide is the doorway from one side to the other side? How wide is that doorway? So would that be 1 inch wide? because the number we gave was 1. An inch, a foot, a yard. Sure, the width of a doorway is going to be 1 yard. 1 yard. Okay, whoops, I'm going the wrong way. I almost shut off the video. All right, next, the height of the ceiling is about 9 what? The height of a ceiling. Notice I've used 3 different words here, by the way, in these last 3. Okay, I started with the length of a pencil. I used the word length, and then I used the word width, how wide something is. Length and width are measuring the same thing. It's how long something is, but width is, we talk about it for wide. We're still measuring length though. I know it sounds weird, but we're still measuring the length. Length is one direction, width is the connecting direction with that. But width, you still measure how long something is. And then on this one, the height. Well, height is length, but coming from the floor up. Okay? You're still measuring how long something is. The height of the ceiling is about 9 what? So if you're standing where you are right now and you look up to the ceiling, that's about 9 what? Okay? Now, are we all in the same place? No. Okay? Do we all have different sized ceilings? Well, maybe. Okay? I've been in places where the ceiling's way high in the air. I've been in other places where the ceiling seems kind of low to me. Okay? But for the most part, general, okay, the ceiling is about 9 what? 9 inches? 9 of these? 9 feet? 9 yards. Okay? Well, the ceiling is going to be about 9 feet. About 9 feet. Okay? You might think, well, it's high. Well, but it's not 9 of these. Okay? Because if you do this and you turn it that way, well, that's 1. There certainly aren't 8 more going from the floor to the ceiling. 9 feet would be your best estimate there. All right. So I think we're going to be okay with estimating, right? Inches, feet, yards. Now let's talk about actual measuring with a ruler to measure how long things are. All right. We use rulers to measure to be exact. If we needed to have exact measurements rather than estimates, we use a ruler. Okay. Our ruler is usually marked in inches with whole numbers. We'll see 1, 2, 3. But a lot of times we need an in-between measurement. We need more than an inch or more than 2 inches. Okay. So when we have those in-between measurements, we use fractions in between. And there are 3 places rather that you have to be able to do as a 3rd grader. 3 places you got to find where those measurements are. All right. If I divide this inch into 4 parts, okay, 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Each of these would be 1/4. Right. We've talked about fractions before. Each would be 1/4. So this would be 1/4. This would be 2/4, and that would be 3/4. But 2/4 has an equivalent fraction. Okay, it has an equivalent fraction, and that equivalent fraction is 1/2. And people understand 1/2 a lot better than they do 2/4. So that middle line we're going to call 1/2. So there are 3 places on your ruler that you have to know, 3 fraction lines you've got to be able to identify. The first line past the whole number is the 1/4. The next line is in the middle is the 1/2. The next line after that, come on board. The next line after that is the 3/4. So it's 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. Coming down the line, first line past will be 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. Next line past the 2 would be, tell me, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. And those are going to be the ones no matter how far you go. 1/4, all right, so right after the 3, 1/4, and I don't have 1/2 on there. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, whole number. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, whole number. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, whole number. I know you're going, shut up, buddy. I know, I'm ready. All right, here we go. Now I've got some practice for measuring. Here we go. I've got a pencil, and I've got my ruler here, and I'm going to take my ruler and measure the length of my pencil. So it's hard to do from this distance. What I need to do is I need to put my ruler up there. Now, pay attention on your ruler. Rulers are different, okay? Some rulers start right at the end. Some have what we call a 0 line. If your ruler has a 0 line, you've got to put the 0 line at the end of the object you're going to measure, not the end of the ruler. because this part right here on my ruler is not measuring anything. I have to start at the 0. All right, so now I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to move it up, and I'm going to put my 0 line at the end. All right, my 0 line is right at the end where the eraser is. Now I want to look at the very tip of this point. The tip of this point, if you ever measure something and the tip is above the line, draw a line straight down to your ruler. It comes right here. Okay? Now my pencil is more than 1. It's more than 2, but it hasn't gotten to 3, so the whole number would be a 2. Is it on the 2 line? No, it's on the first line past it. And that first line is the, which one? Do you remember the fraction? 1/4. So this would be 2 1/4 inches long. It's more than 2. It's 2 plus another fourth. 2 1/4 inches long. All right, let's take a look at my paper clip. I'm going to do the same thing with my paper clip. I need to move my ruler up. I need to make sure I put my 0 line on the end of the paper clip. My 0 line will go there. All right, and now I'm going to look at my paper clip and see where it ends. My 0 line is lined up. I've passed 1 inch. I've not gotten to 2, so my whole number is 1. And now let's see where I am. First line is 1/4. The next line is right where it ends. So it's 1/4, 1/2. Good. So this is 1 1/2 inches long. 1 1/2 inches long. All right, let's do one more. I've got a worm. All right, let's see how long my worm is. I want to trace my ruler, draw my, highlight my ruler, move it up, put the 0 line on the end, and let's see how far down my worm comes. He goes a little farther than I wanted him to. Oh dear. All right, he's coming down here. All right, and you know what? Does this happen in real life? Sure does. It sure does. Sometimes we want to go to the closest one. All right, my worm is past 1, it's past 2, it's past 3, and I need to put a little more ruler on here. Okay, it's past 3, it hasn't gotten to 4, so the whole number would be 3. All right, so let's look at it. I have to kind of choose between these two, don't I? I have to see which one it's closer to. Well, I think it's a little closer to this line. So that's the one I'm going to choose. It's not 1/4, it's closer to the 1/2 to me. So I would call it 3 1/2. And you know what? Sometimes that happens. We got to go to the closest place where we can mark. If you click on the link, there's some estimating things for you to do, and there will be a ruler. If you can print it, if you can print off the sheet, you can cut off the ruler and you can use the ruler to measure different things. Okay? All right, gang, keep working hard. I'm proud of you.